through your local cable company. Bresnan Communications Public Access Facility offers you a camera, videotapes, audio, and editing equipment to produce and direct your own public access program. Certification workshops are now being offered to individuals, groups, or agencies in Bresnan Communications service area. Call our public access coordinator at 226-6261 today for more information.
Hi, I'm Charlie Steiner. For top quality sports, you tune in to ESPN. But for the best coverage of what's going on in your community, nobody beats your local cable company. This week and all year long, your local cable company is bringing you the finest local sports, arts, community affairs, and special events programming right into your living room. So tune in to local cable programming. Local cable programming contributes to life.
October 1987, a small child is rescued from an abandoned well. No country comes to the aid of a child the way we do. Yet today, millions of children need our help, lost in an education system unable to prepare them for today's competitive world. Imagine if that same effort went into keeping the promise that every child gets the best education and has a future. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE for information on changing the schools in your community.
There are some things that improve with age. The longer you keep them, the better they get. That's how it is with U.S. savings bonds, and that's why they make perfect gifts. Just go to your bank, ask for a gift certificate to give now, and the bond will arrive in the mail later.
Cool!
Give U.S. savings bonds because some things improve with age, fortunately.
Take stock in America. U.S. savings bonds.
Medicine can't make this man's hands work, but with the help of his dog, he can open any door. There'll never be a pair of glasses strong enough to get this woman's sight. But thanks to her dog, her horizons are expanding. Dogs are the hands, eyes, ears, and even legs for thousands of Americans who rely on their dog's devotion. But every dog relies on its owner for love and caring. Can your dog rely on you? The American Kennel Club urges you to be a responsible dog owner.
4 banners for volleyball hang at the CB Hedgcock Fieldhouse. 2 for Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Championships, 1 for a 1991 appearance at the Elite 8, and 1 for a 1992 NCAA runner-up finish last year at Portland State. Tonight, the Northern Michigan University Wildcats look to take the first step toward hanging a championship banner at the CB Hedgcock Fieldhouse as Bresnan Communications presents the Elite 8 NCAA Division II Women's Volleyball Championships. Tonight's game, the Northern Michigan University Wildcats versus the Chargers of the University of New Haven. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Hedgcock Fieldhouse. My name is Dave Danis, and joining me tonight is Lisa Rosen, the wife of Cal State Bakersfield coach Mark Rosen. And let's take a look at some of the other games we've had today. We've had some excitement. They've all been 3-and-out matches, but I thought the first match between Northern Colorado and Regis really had some close games. Portland State showed there's maybe a chink or two in their armor with their match, and then the Bakersfield match that was just concluded against Gannon was certainly an entertaining match.
Right. Yeah, I thought there was some really good volleyball out here today. It's probably just a warm-up for tomorrow's matches.
Taking a look at the scores from those previous matches, it was Northern Colorado 15-12, 16-14, and 15-9 over Regis. Portland State 15-10, 7-5 over Tampa, and Bakersfield with a 15-8, 7-6, three-game sweep over Gannon. Tonight, it's Northern Michigan University, ranked #1 in the country from the preseason to the Elite 8 with a record of 35-1. Their only loss came courtesy of Cal State Bakersfield. So you've seen Northern Michigan before, Lisa. What do you think about their team and their chances?
I think Northern Michigan's a very experienced team. They have some great height. That's one of the major advantages they're going to have over New Haven tonight. Playing at home is going to help them a lot. This crowd right now is going crazy for them.
New Haven, meanwhile, they come in with a 38-2 record. They got here by defeating Springfield 15-9, 15-11, 15-10. New Haven, though, comes out of what might be considered one of the weaker regions. Although they have a 38-2 record, they haven't played a lot of top-notch competition outside their region, and that's something that caused a problem for Gannon in the earlier match tonight.
Right, Gannon just wasn't able to hang with them. Northern Michigan and Cal State Bakersfield have played some very good competition throughout the entire year, and that's showing here tonight.
A big crowd on hand for the hometown match here at the Hedgcock Fieldhouse. The stands across from us are packed. The stands below are packed. We've got a pretty good crowd in either end zone. So this is, Northern also has their band here. This is something that's really good for Division II volleyball, and crowds this size are not real common in the sport and in the division.
No, the biggest crowd that I've seen so far in the Division II matches when Northern Michigan played Cal State at Cal State. They had a pretty good crowd. This is going to be a great advantage for Northern Michigan, I think, just to have this crowd behind them. Well,
the number one ranking all year long certainly played to the advantage of Northern Michigan, and then a great bid put into the tournament committee by the athletic department here at NMU won them the right to host the tournament here at Hedgcock Fieldhouse. Last year they had to go out to Portland. Portland won on their home court. They had the home crowd behind them. This year, it's in Marquette. What kind of an advantage? I mean, not only from the fact that you sleep in your own beds at night and you pretty much still have your same daily routine as opposed to sitting around a hotel, but what kind of advantage do you have playing at home with the hometown crowd?
Well, I think most of all is you're in a very friendly environment. At times, if you're a traveling team, it gets to be kind of a hostile environment for you to play in. Nerves play a big factor. Plus, Northern Michigan has the advantage of not having to travel. They've been at home the whole time and just in a very familiar surrounding, which is going to help them in the long run.
Now, how did your husband's team, Bakersfield, how were they able to adjust their schedules, and what kind of lifestyle adjustments do they have to make when they come all the way from California to Marquette?
Well, I do know that they got new fleece sweats. I think there's only one girl on the team that has not seen snow, so that's an advantage. They're finished with finals, so that's an advantage that they have. They do not have any more school to worry about, so that's kind of a relief. I just think that all the teams here are doing a really good job of performing at their best.
So we're just about set for action. Dave Danis along with Lisa Rosen. And Lisa, you're no stranger to the volleyball court yourself. If my scouting reports are right, you did pretty fair in your days at, was it Ohio State?
I played at Ohio State.
A former Buckeye. Those don't often go over big in the state of Michigan.
I know. I know. I hate to say it, but I was rooting for Ohio State in that Michigan game.
Oh, well, they'll do fine in the Citrus Bowl or wherever they go after Wisconsin wins tonight.
I know. I was hoping to get to go to the Rose Bowl this year.
Being from California and L.A. not too far away. Well, we are set for action in the quarterfinals of the NCAA Volleyball Championship Tournament in Division II, the Elite 8. Northern Michigan plays against New Haven for the right to meet Northern Colorado tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Some things about New Haven, some of the top players include Elise Hutchinson and Jane Grant, who this is definitely a non-climate situation for Jane Grant. She's from Barbados, as is another member of the New Haven squad. New Haven 38-2, but again, they didn't play against any of the top-ranked teams throughout the year. Their one returning player from last year, that is Elise Hutchinson. She's a sophomore. She didn't play in the tournament last year. When they came up here for the regionals, she had come down with meningitis, and the whole team had to go to Marquette General Hospital to get some medication to make sure that didn't spread. Well, we have no cases like that this year that we know of, and we're all set for volleyball. Northern Michigan will serve it up first, and doing the serving for NMU will be number 3, Rachel Dyrek. She's back along the back line. Also, Stacy Metro is there along with Tricia Tuller. Andrea Gomens, the Netherlands native, is up front along with Jenny Long and Heather Koenig. And Rachel serves it up, and we're underway. New Haven will set it, and they'll go right to Jane Grant, and she had the big slam, and that was blocked by the Wildcats. Tuller, Andrea Gomens, right away, going to the big lady in the middle from the Netherlands.
Yeah, she's a really very strong attacker for Northern Michigan. She's going to control this game.
1-0 Northern Michigan. block. The attempt by Ralina Vandrell. Northern Michigan goes again. Jenny Long finds Pater, and it's 2-0. And Northern Michigan using a very fast-paced swing attack.
Yeah, they are. That's something that they've been known for using this whole entire year, is a swing offense.
Gomez again has it dug out by Raliana Vendrell, and we've got a net violation. And that will be called against the Chargers. So it's now 3-0, and Northern, with this big home crowd and a big rally early, New Haven's going to have to look to do something to take the crowd out of the match, and not just the Wildcats. Jane Grant's shot goes off the hands of a Wildcat, and the ball will go over to the Chargers. They trail at 0-3. Grant on the service line. Deep serve, a little too deep, and it'll go right back to the Wildcats, where Heather Koenig will serve.
Yeah, that's something that New Haven can't afford to do, is make unforced errors.
Heather Koenig with the service ace. 4-0, and as soon as this weekend's tournament is over, Heather Koenig will join the Northern Michigan Wildcats swim team. So a versatile athlete, and another service ace. Is unable to handle it was Elise Hutchinson, the sophomore outside hitter from Aurora, Colorado.
Heather's got a great jump serve going right now. They're hitting it really high, real hard. New Haven's having a lot of problems returning that.
Debbie Chin, the coach of New Haven, calls timeout. With Northern off to such a fast start, that might be about the only thing they could do to slow them down right now.
Yeah, what New Haven needs to take every advantage that they get. They need to serve accurate, they need to serve tough, but they also need to pass the ball. If they're going to run any sort of an offense against Northern Michigan, they're going to have to push the ball into the setter.
Debbie Chin, the UNH coach, in her 17th season, came into the year with a .538 and .175 record, a better than 75% winning record. That one is going to be touched, and points will go to Northern Michigan. Shirley Hoyte from Barbados had a little trouble with it.
Heather's doing a nice job of moving the ball around on her jump serve also.
Well, she moved that one into the net, and a break for New Haven, as it will go over, and that will be Shirley Hoyte to serve. Tuller pulls it out, and Andrea Gomez knocks it down, side out, Northern Michigan.
Gomez is pretty much just hitting over their middle blocker right now.
The setup going for Hoyte, blocked by Tuller. The set, this one will go to Tricia. Diving save, and side out, net violation. Jenny Long serve. This one will be set for Elise Hutchinson. And it goes into the net, and again, side out Northern Michigan, off to an 8-0 run. What can a volleyball team do when they get down like this early?
This team needs to regroup. They need to start passing the ball up to the setter. She's having to run around everywhere. She can't get a good set off.
Well, Northern Michigan certainly has a large height advantage, and that's become apparent against New Haven. Taking a look, New Haven does have Jane Grant. She's a 6-footer. And Rochelle Hewins at 5'10", although Rochelle not in the game yet. Meanwhile, Northern Michigan goes 6'1" with Stacy Metro, 6'3" with Andrea Gomez, and also Heather Koenig goes 5'10", as Tricia Tuller also 6'1", so certainly a very tall Northern Michigan squad, and that's going to be tough for the smaller New Haven team.
Yeah, Northern Michigan is one of the tallest teams in Division II. They're very versatile in what they run in their offense, which is good for them.
Andrea Gomez from Panningen in the Netherlands will do the serving for Northern Michigan. She's a Division II first-team All-American. Hoyte's shot was blocked, and it'll go over.
That's a nice shot by her. She needs to try and use that. One good thing about a tall block is a lot of times you can use it.
That one slammed home by the Wildcats number 13, Pauline Schutte, the 6'2" middle blocker from Manitowoc, Wisconsin. And when you've got a 6'2" Schutte, a 6'1" Tuller, and a 6'3" Gomez up on the front line, It's a lot of redwood to cut through to find a path. This one will go for Jane Grant. She gets it into the block. Stacy Metro keeps it alive. Gomans plays it. Hoyt in the back. This one will go to Grant. Tries the tip shot. Shooting with the block and touch. And Tricia Tuller finds the line just barely. And it's 10-0 NNU.
Northern Michigan needs to try and keep the ball in play just a little bit longer. The rallies are ending way too fast for them to be able to score any points.
And that's Jane Grant taking it away from the Wildcats with the slam home. Side out for the Chargers. And what they have to do is at least get a couple of points on the service so they know they can do it.
Right, they need to take advantage of their serve. That's a pretty good serve by number 20.
And that was doing the serving, Elise Hutchinson. And the Chargers are on the board with their first point. Jenny Long with the dig. Gomans with the drive. Dug out by the Chargers, Lakeisha Platt. Long again will bump it up. The set will go for Tricia Tuller. Tries to slam it home and came up a little short in the face of Shala Asalita.
New Haven's going to fare better if they can extend the rallies. Dig a lot of balls, keep the ball in play.
And that's something you don't need when you're starting to get back on your feet as a service error and turn it back over to the powerful Wildcat offense. Tuller from West Allis, Wisconsin, the serve. The set will go. Grant had it set right back, and Jenny Long gets the block and the kill, and it's 11-2.
Right now, Northern Michigan's overpowering New Haven. They're blocking the ball very well, and they're attacking well as well.
This set for Reliana Vendrell, and that's blocked back but out of bounds, so side out New Haven. 11-2, game number 1. Jenny Long, did she get the line? No, she didn't.
Just out.
So it's now 3-11. New Haven trails. The serve will come to Tuller in the back row. The setup for Jenny Long. Finds it. Dug out by Hoyt. Now Vendrell gets it over the net. The set will go for Schutte. Nice play in the back by Shirley Hoyt. The toss over the net and long by Reliana Vendrell.
Number 6, Shirley Hoyt from New Haven is doing a nice job of playing some good defense in the backcourt, keeping the ball alive for New Haven.
In for Northern Michigan, Liu Jun wearing number 6. She's a senior, or check that, freshman from Tianjin, China. She stands 5'11", so Jim Moore comes from California, the land of the Redwoods, and that's what he recruits to play on his front line here in Marquette.
Yeah, he doesn't have anyone under 5'10" on his team, does he?
Oh, I see a couple of 5'9s in there.
Oh.
Maybe, actually the short one would be 5'8". Kelly Brown, a sophomore setter from Alta Loma, California. A couple at 5'9", and everybody else is over 5'10". And that's Hoyt off the net.
The New Haven setter's doing a nice job of trying to run an offense. They just need to concentrate on getting their passes up to the net right now.
12-3, timeout Chargers. That last one ruled by the official to catch the antenna, and you can't do that. It's, Kevin and I talked earlier about baseball, when you hit the foul pole, it's a home run, but in volleyball, when you hit that antenna, it's out.
Right, the antenna extends all the way up to the ceiling, so no matter if you don't hit it or not, if it goes over it, it's still out.
Northern Michigan off to the big lead. The first ever national championship event held here in Marquette. And Northern Michigan needs to defeat New Haven and then go up against Northern Colorado tomorrow night to hopefully get a shot at the winner of the Portland State-Bakersfield matchup. And, you know, an interesting thing we've talked about all day long is those three teams have not lost to anyone other than each other. And this tournament so far has turned out to be not necessarily the Elite 8, but the Elite 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And the rest of the teams here, because they've all been sweep matches.
Right, it's almost a three-team race right now with Northern Michigan, Portland, and Bakersfield. All three of them have beat up on each other.
Powerful serve by Heather Koenig. played by Hutchinson. That's Hoyt with the toss over, and Liu Jun couldn't handle it for Northern Michigan. So give the ball to the Chargers.
Yeah, that was a nice swing by number 5. She hit it very high, very deep in the deep corner of Northern Michigan.
This set will go for Gomans, and she finds it in the back row. Side out Northern Michigan. They need 2 more points to take game number 1. The set, that will go for Grant. She swings. This one, Hutchinson has it blocked right back in her face. Stacy Metro and Andrea Gomans bring us to game point. Only 15 minutes into the match, an incredibly quick game.
Yeah, a little bit too quick for New Haven's likings, I think.
There's Grant, dug out by Jenny Long. Metro, the set. Koenig had it blocked. Nice job by the Chargers. Going up for it was Hoyt and Elise Hutchinson.
Yeah, that was a nice block. They did a nice job of coming together and closing and pressing over the net.
Hard serve, a little too hard, and it will go back to Northern Michigan for game point.
That's something that New Haven needs to take advantage of, is their serve.
The crowd trying to rally Andrea Gomans to get the game point. Just over the net, and we're going to have a net violation, and it will go against the Chargers. Game number 1 for the Northern Michigan Wildcats by a score of 15-3. We'll take timeout and come back with the second game of tonight's final match, when Elite 8 volleyball continues here on President Communications.
October 1987. A small child is rescued from an abandoned well. No country comes to the aid of a child the way we do. Yet today, millions of children need our help, lost in an education system unable to prepare them for today's competitive world. Imagine if that same effort went into keeping the promise that every child gets the best education and has a future. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE for information on changing the schools in your community.
There are some things that improve with age. The longer you keep them, the better they get. That's how it is with U.S. savings bonds, and that's why they make perfect gifts. Just go to your bank, ask for a gift certificate to give now, and the bond will arrive in the mail later.
Cool.
Give U.S. savings bonds because some things improve with age, fortunately.
Take stock in America. U.S. savings bonds.
Medicine can't make this man's hands work, but with the help of his dog, he can open any door. There'll never be a pair of glasses strong enough to get this woman's sight. But thanks to her dog, her horizons are expanding. Dogs have the hands, eyes, ears, and even legs for thousands of Americans who rely on their dog's devotion. But every dog relies on its owner for love and caring. Can your dog rely on you? The American Kennel Club urges you to be a responsible dog owner.
15-4 the score in the first game as Northern Michigan went to an easy victory over New Haven. I'm Dave Danis along with Lisa Rosen, and Lisa, Northern Michigan just opened it up right from the start.
Yeah, Northern Michigan pretty much controlled that whole match the entire time. The one thing New Haven, I think they can improve on is their serving. If they get their serves under control, they'll be able to score some points, but that's the only way that they're going to stay in this game.
Oh, you know, Debbie Chin said the New Haven team needs to set it up, and they haven't been able to do that so far. Heather Koenig with the smash, and the first side out of the game will go to Northern Michigan, and they will serve looking for the first point of game number 2. They lead it 1-0. Heather Koenig, the jump serve, and that one goes into the net.
She gets on a roll. She can be pretty lethal with her jump serve, as we saw in game 1.
Jane Grant serve, and that one is slammed back home. Andrea Gomans with a force.
That was a pretty good hit. There isn't really much you can say about that.
Well, I was told in the last game by Northern student assistant Kevin Hitt that Andrea put one of the Wayne State players in a neck brace with that spike.
If she hit the girl like that, I wouldn't doubt it.
Of course, Kevin's spending this game over on the Wildcat bench next to assistant Lynn Thies and Coach Jim Moore. Hutchinson right into the block of Gomans. Andrea Gomans so far, if there is such a thing, the player of the game. She's just been tough up front and tough from everywhere.
Yeah, so far I'd say that she's been the best player in this game. She's pretty much dominating the net, and now she's getting it.
That was Trisha Tuer, number 7, with the slam. Now it's 1-0 NMU. Gomans' serve is played. They'll set it up for Hoyt, and unable to dig it out was Heather Koenig.
One of the nice things about Andrea is that she's a big girl, but she can play back row also, which is nice for her because she can play all the way around.
A lot of quickness for a woman her size. Stacy Metro goes for the push. That one won't go, and it's not returned. Side out Northern Michigan. So the Chargers may be trying to use a little too much finesse on that shot.
Yeah, a little bit.
They'll need to take the opening when they can get it. Hoyt goes into a block of Tuer and Shitty. 2-0 Northern Michigan.
Right now, New Haven needs to kind of retrack and think of different options when they're attacking. They're just trying to hit through the block, and there's no hole in that block for them to hit through.
Hutchinson's shot, and we've got a net violation. And that will go against New Haven, so, or pardon me, against Northern Michigan. So give the ball over to New Haven. Hoyt serve goes long.
Every opportunity New Haven gets, they need to capitalize on that.
Well, I think it's become apparent to this point for New Haven to have any chance in this match, they'll have to play flawlessly.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I don't know.
Tula will serve it. And there's a side out for Jane Grant.
Yeah, they tried to run that play on the previous one. It didn't work. This time they hooked up.
Hutchinson will serve, and that out.
Oh no, they called it an ace.
Well, the officials are never wrong, so it's now 3-1. Although from our vantage point, sometimes those shots on the other side of the court are kind of tough to call in or out.
Yeah, line shots are a little bit hard to see from the opposite side.
Side out Northern Michigan. Liu Jun will serve it. The lefty from China. This set will go to Grant. She runs into the block. They got part of the ball, but not enough. And the point, or the side out rather, will go to the Chargers.
That's a very smart hit for New Haven. Northern Michigan's block's so tall that if they're going to do anything, they've got to either hit high off hands or they're going to have to tip right over the block.
Liu Jun, Metro, this set. Jenny Wire, Heather Koenig rather, with the point. 4-1, Northern Michigan, or 3-1 rather. Things are moving so fast, I'm already into rally scoring. Blocked up front by Gomans and net. Jane Grant puts a little exclamation point on that one.
Unfortunately, it was against New Haven.
4-1.
Heather Koenig with her jump serve.
She gets a nice little topspin on that ball that helps it to dive before it gets past that back line.
Yeah, that's pretty much the basic principle of a jump serve. If you have a jump serve that's floating, then you're doing something wrong with it.
That one seems to get up in the air and drop like a Dwight Gooden curveball. Grant goes for the tip. Koenig keeps it alive. Metro for Gomans. Gives Stacy the assist on Ray the kill, and the Wildcats a 6-1 lead.
Stacy's doing a nice job right now of running Northern Michigan's offense very quick, very fast offense.
Net serve by Koenig. So the ball will go over to the Chargers. See some of the members of the Gannon squad filing back into the gym. after their tough match against Bakersfield.
Yeah, it's gotta be tough to lose on the first night and then have to go home.
Now, do they send the losing teams home? They'll send the 4 teams that lost today, they'll send them home tomorrow?
Yeah, the 4 teams that lose tonight, they'll be on a plane tomorrow back home.
And those that lose tomorrow won't get to stick around to see Monday's finals.
No, they get to stay. There's a playoff for 3rd and 4th place, but I believe that they're still going to be able to stay. I think tonight was the only night that they would have to leave.
Well, you are correct. There is that consolation game, so they can't send anybody home tomorrow. We have no consolation.
Right.
Gomez with the tip, and it falls in. Score another point for the Wildcats.
New Haven did a nice job of playing some really scrappy defense. If they're going to, you know, for them to stay in this game, they need to play some defense. Keep the ball alive.
There's the slam, and Koenig couldn't handle it. Side out New Haven.
Number 6 for New Haven, Shirley Hoyt. She's got a nice vertical leap.
Shayla Salida to serve. Metro, the set. Tuller sends it, and that goes wide. It's now 3-7. So New Haven at least a little more in this game than they were the previous, controlling the ball just a little better. Stacy Metro goes up to the block on Hutchinson. She's successful, and Gomans will serve on the side out for NMU.
I do believe that Stacy Metro is the tallest setter here. She's 6'1". That's real tall. That's very tall for a setter.
There's a lot of teams that don't have 6'1" middle blockers.
Yeah, that's true.
Side out goes over to New Haven. Emily Carrick in the game for Northern Michigan wearing number 9. Emily, the only Youper on the Northern Michigan team, the Upper Michigan native from Brimley. Side out goes back to Northern Michigan. Stacy Metro's turn to serve.
Stacy does an excellent job in the front row of making herself an attacker as well as a setter.
This one will be set up for Hoyt. Shirley gets it and gets it in. Stacy Metro doesn't think so. About 2,000 or 3,000 Wildcat fans don't think so, but as long as the line judge does, it's all that counts.
Yeah, that's a tough call, especially in your home gym. Sometimes you want those calls to go for you.
Well, New Haven does Northern Michigan a favor, and if in fact the ball wasn't in, they turned it back over like a Christmas present on the net serve. Tricia Tuller. This setup will go for Grant. Jane sends it long. Side out Northern Michigan. 8-3. And this one again will go to Jane Grant. Off the hands of the Wildcat block. Koenig sets it, and slamming it down is Jenny Long.
Jenny Long's a very explosive outside hitter. She has a nice fast arm swing, gets in late and very quick.
Jenny Long, a California native, like many of her Wildcat teammates from La Mesa. Grant again runs into the block, but it goes off the hands of Emily Carrick and out of bounds, so it will go back over to the Chargers and Elise Hutchinson. Strong serve by Elise. Nice dig for Tricia Tuller. This one will go to Koenig, and that ran into the New Haven block, but a little too much block for the Chargers on that one.
Yeah, she read the play right. She just didn't get her hands over the net early enough to block it straight down.
9-3 Northern Michigan. Rachel Dyrek will serve. And Rachel, right to Andrea.
That was a nice catch by Andrea, behind the head.
Unfortunately, she couldn't go up for the dunk. That's another game.
Yeah.
Stacy Metro, the set. And Andrea.
She's being a very, very big force for this entire gym right now. She's put 2 balls straight down that I haven't seen hit like that in a very long time.
Could be tournament time that Andrea's lifted her game, which is already pretty good, to a new level. There she goes up on the block. And Northern gets the point.
Yeah, Andrea is pretty much dominating the net right now. Nothing's getting by her, and nothing's going down very easy when she's attacking.
So it'll be Koenig to serve again. At 10-3, Northern Michigan. Heather gets it over, and Hutchinson 4 hits, and right away the Chargers were doomed on that one as they didn't handle the serve very well. They needed 2 or 3 hits just to make it playable.
A little bit of a miscommunication there as well. The setter did a nice job of trying to save the ball, and then unfortunately it dropped between 2 girls.
Our score now, 11 for Northern Michigan, 3 for the Chargers. Northern was a 15-4 winner in game number 1. I'm Dave Danis along with Lisa Rosen. Glad we can be bringing you NCAA Division II volleyball from the Elite 8 tournament at Hedgcock Fieldhouse in Marquette, Michigan. The Wildcats remain with Jenny Long, Tricia Tueller, Rachel Dyrick, Stacy Metro, Andrea Gomez, and Heather Koenig back on the service line. Up and away for Koenig, and Shirley Hoyt can't handle it. Ball 3, and there's that jump serve working to its best.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many aces she has for sure, but I know that she has at least 5 or 6.
And that one's got a little too much on it, but that's the price you pay when you use that jump serve once in a while.
Yeah, it's a little bit unpredictable. She has pretty good control over it, which is nice.
3-12 serve for Jane Grant. Nice dig by Tueller. This one will go for Dyrek. She pops it over. Grant sets it up. They'll go for Hoyt. Tueller kept it alive in the back row. Jenny Long tries to get over the block, and she does. And that time, New Haven again did not get that block extended over the net.
Right, the New Haven, the blockers put up a good, they were standing there and they put up a good block. They just need to finish it out by pressing over the net.
Jenny Long at 12-3 for Northern Michigan. This one will go. Shirley Hoyt whistle right away.
Double hit called on the setter.
Well, I tell you, if this match keeps going at this pace, many of the patrons are going to wonder what they paid $6 for.
Yeah, this is, I'd say by far this is the quickest, well, definitely the quickest first game, possibly the quickest second game of the whole tournament.
Well, I believe the quickest match was about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I think that was just the Bakersfield match.
Yeah, North Dakota, or not North Dakota, Northern Colorado in about 1.5 hours.
Hour and 40 minutes, and from what I'm told, that's quite long for a 3-game match.
Yeah, definitely. Usually you're going to get 4, quick 5, but definitely 4 games in that time frame.
14-3, Northern Michigan going for game point in game 2. Crowd coming to its feet for Andrea Gomez. And did she catch line? No, she did not. So the crowd will sit back down and watch the service of New Haven's number 4, Lakeisha Platt, the sophomore from Malvern, New York, 5'9". The set, and Tueller with the kill. Nice little roll into the empty spot.
A little bit of a miss hit there, but, you know, sometimes those work better than an actual contact. Not exactly what you're expecting.
So it'll be Stacy Metro. Hutchinson gets it over, dug out, kept up. Tueller hits it. Little problem for Northern, but they got it over the net. Hutchinson hits it off the fingers, and it was ruled not out the fingers. Yes, it was. There we go. I got it right the first time.
Yeah, you did. It called a touch on Heather Koenig.
3-14 for Shirley Hoyt. Stacy Metro, the set, and number 13 for the Wildcats, Pauline shooting.
Stacy's doing a nice job of running the offense here for Northern Michigan, setting the middles when the middle blockers aren't there.
Wildcats going for match point, and New Haven gets it in, so they're dragging this one out just a little bit.
Yeah, teasing Northern Michigan just a little bit.
Jenny Long couldn't get the arms quite up to handle that one, and it's now 14-4.
Elise Hutchinson has a nice top spin serve. She doesn't jump, but she's still got a top spin serve.
Long slams it into the net. 5-14 now for the Wildcats.
A little bit of a breakdown for Northern Michigan. I'd say that New Haven needs to take advantage of this.
Metro to set. Schutte. Hoyt throws it. The set for Grant. And she finds Pater. It's now 6-14, so a little bit of life coming into the New Haven Chargers here late in the second game.
Yeah, New Haven's, they picked up their ball control a little bit, and that's been hurt them. Missed serve.
Service error for Elise Hutchinson, and again for game point for Northern Michigan. This time it'll be Rachel Dyrick on the serve. They get it over. Northern keeps it alive, but not long enough, and it'll be side out New Haven.
New Haven's doing a nice job of siding out with Northern Michigan, which is what they needed to do the whole entire time.
Metro will set for Dolans. Look out.
Yeah, I haven't seen Andrea make too many mistakes tonight. I think the only one she made was a service error.
Game point again, and Koenig sends it into the net.
One of the golden rules in volleyball is you never want to miss your serve on game point.
They have a little fine down in the locker room they can impose on you for that.
I don't know, we always had to run lines, so.
I think you'd rather the fine.
Yeah.
You know, some teams in various sports have their little kangaroo courts for certain infractions, and you have to pay in. There's a nice block for Dolmans and Metro. And we'll go back once again to game point.
Nope, that was game.
Check that. Wildcats win it 15-6. They're up 2-0. They'll take a lap around the court, change ends, and we'll come back with game number 3 after this timeout.
Prescription medicines work miracles, but did you know they can dangerously interact with drugs used during emergencies? Since emergencies can happen to anyone, protect yourself by wearing Medic Alert. Medic Alert lets emergency teams know your medications and medical history, vital information that prevents emergencies from becoming tragedies. To learn more, call 1-800-ID-ALERT or ask your pharmacist.
Your friend.
My friend.
Yeah, the one that you said that you asked if she could say everything I get, he tries to sell, you know.
Oh, no.
Oh, what a cute dog. You like it?
Anybody hear from Bill? He called Tuesday and said he couldn't decide whether he should buy or rent.
That little dog. Literally, the dog was winding around and around her legs. Like,
Okay.
great dog.
Is it ever too soon to save for college? U.S. savings bonds grow almost as fast as kids do. Get U.S. savings bonds for half their face value and double your money when held to maturity. Get U.S. savings bonds for education, where you work or where you bank. They grow almost as fast as kids do.
Take stock in America.
U.S. savings bonds.
Hello, I'm George Gugasian, president of the State Bar of Michigan. As a lawyer, I am all too familiar with the problems of child abuse and neglect in our state. 1 in every 100 children in Michigan is a victim of abuse or neglect. If you know of a child in crisis, call 1-800-942-HELP. Your report will be kept confidential. Report child abuse. Michigan's children are a responsibility we all share.
Maybe you have what it takes to be one of us. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back to the CB Hedgcock Fieldhouse. Northern Michigan 15-4 and 15-6 over New Haven. They head to game number 3, looking to earn a berth against Northern Colorado tomorrow night. We were just talking a moment ago with Lisa Rosen, Lisa the Bakersfield fan, wife of Bakersfield coach Mark Rosen. Well, we're going to give equal time to Portland State as they'll go up against Bakersfield tomorrow night. And Kathy Nelson, thanks for joining me. First of all, congratulations on a great match for your team today.
Thank you very much. It was real important to get by that first one and get some of the jitters out. And I think my kids played a good game, so I'm real pleased.
It looked to me your team got better and stronger as it went on. It went 15-10, 7-5. And they had some problems in the first game, but boy, they got them worked out. And by the third game, we're nearly flawless.
Yeah, they sure did. You know, they're a real experienced team, and even though they are, I think they experienced some jitters in the first game, and our game plan went pretty well. But Tampa was a tough team, and they fought back pretty hard. So I think that we kind of smoothed out and evened out a little bit as the game went on.
Now, you come into the season, this is your first year. Jeff Mazzocchi was the coach last year, led them to the championship. What kind of challenges have you seen in your first year, and what kind of difficulty has the team had maybe adapting to a new coach and maybe a new system?
Well, my personality, first of all, has probably been the biggest adjustment because I'm very different than Jeff Mazzocchi, the previous coach. He was more of a quiet, intensity kind of a leader, and I'm more of a vocal, hyperactive. I really like to get in there and get things done, and so that was a real transition for them. I also think that just getting the team to buy into my system, which is also different. I believe in running the middle attack a little bit more, and I think that those things were kind of hard at first, but they really bought into it after a while, and I convinced them that it was the way to go, and so far it's really worked for us.
Now, give me your impression so far of the tournament and the teams that remain. There's still Northern Colorado and Bakersfield, and most people would say Northern Michigan probably is a lock to go up against Northern Colorado.
I would say so, yeah. It's really no surprise that the top 4 teams that are here, made it through the first round. Most of them, fairly easily. All the matches have gone 3 games, and I'm assuming that this one will also be the same. So there's no doubt that these were the teams that people expected to be here, and I think we all expected to see each other. So.
Now, between you, Northern Michigan, and Bakersfield, all the losses among your teams have come among that group of 3. How do you go up against Bakersfield tomorrow night?
We just got to go up and we've got to try to play our best match of the year. They're a great team. We've split with them this year, and we have a lot of respect for them. They play a real similar game that we do, and so it should be a real interesting matchup, I think. 2 pretty athletic teams who have a lot of the same offensive styles and the same blocking scheme, same defensive system, so it'll just be who has the better night, I think.
Now, Kathy, when you get to this stage of the season, how do you spend your preparation? Do you spend more time preparing for the other team and what they do, or you concentrate on what your team does best?
I personally like to concentrate on my own team, and I really feel like if we're out there, we're playing a great game the way we can, and in our philosophy and in our system, we're going to beat most teams. I think when you go up against a Bakersfield or a Northern Michigan, you obviously need to spend quite a bit of time preparing for their kind of system, so your team will be as prepared as it can be. So I probably right now about 50-50, really work on what we do, but also keep in mind some of the things that our opponents are doing.
Kathy, your team was here earlier this season for a 10-day stretch, the NMU Invitational and the Sand Snake Classic. I asked you this in the press conference yesterday, but how does that help your team, being familiar with the gym, the area, and all that?
I would certainly say it's an advantage for our team to have been here earlier this year. And we knew the gym, we knew the area, we knew the hotel. It's the same hotel we stayed in. So I guess that if it wasn't going to be important, this is the next most place that we're familiar to. So it wasn't that big of a shock that it was here, and it wasn't that big of a disappointment because I actually like Marquette, and we feel comfortable here. We know the restaurants to go to. We know. We know what's going on in this town, so I think it's definitely to our advantage.
All right, Kathy, well, we hope you enjoy your stay, and thanks for joining us, and good luck with Bakersfield tomorrow.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
That's Kathy Nelson, the head coach of the Portland State Vikings. They will take on Cal State Bakersfield tomorrow afternoon. Thanks again, Kathy. Lisa joining us again, and Northern Michigan again off to the good start here in Game 3 at 4-1.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of the same thing. Northern Michigan's pretty much dominating the game right now. They're pretty much dominating.
Gets to the point of what more can you say? 5-1 now, Northern Michigan. At this point, I think things are becoming pretty academic.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Jim isn't playing more of his younger girls just to give them experience. To say that they've got to play in the Elite 8 because the game's tomorrow, and obviously on Monday also are going to get a little bit tougher, so kind of surprised he's not playing some younger girls.
You must have read my mind, because that's the next question I was going to ask you is, when do you feel it's safe enough to start bringing in some of your subs And I think maybe once you get to, you get an 8 or 9 point lead in this, to keep someone like an Andrea Gomez or Stacy Metro, All-American type players in the game, is doing little more than risking injury.
Right. I mean, they could use, I'm sure they're conditioned good. They could use the rest, though, to be prepared for tomorrow night's match. As far as a lead, I think that he probably could have started non-starters tonight in this third match, and it would have been okay.
Well, Andrea's hit a little long there. That makes it 3-5. Serving is New Haven. Stacy with the set attack, and that's dug out by Hutchinson. Metro again. Heather Koenig. Nice dig by Shirley Hoyt.
Yeah, New Haven's doing a much better job of keeping the ball in play. Now they just need to execute and put the ball away now. They're starting to play better defense. Now they just need to attack more terminating.
That certainly was one of the better rallies we've seen in the match.
Yeah, it was.
Liu Jun, her service. The set will go for Grant, and Jane runs into the block, and we've got a net and or an antenna.
Yeah, when she attacked that ball, it hit the antenna. So then, as we already said, it's automatically ruled out of bounds.
Jun serve. Jane Grant again. That one gets through the block. Jenny Long and Andrea Gomez. So serving now for New Haven will be Jane Grant. Wow. Let me tell you, folks, Sheila Asalita just about got her head taken off with that one.
Yeah, she was maybe in the right place at the right time, maybe not. She got the dig, but...
The dig and a dent.
Yeah.
She'll set it up for Hoyt. Hoyt has it blocked. They keep it alive. Hutchinson sets it over. Northern Michigan, though, hanging with it. Jenny Long fights the block off. Stacy sets it. Jenny Long finds it.
Consistently, Northern Michigan is attacking New Haven's line. If I were Debbie Chin, I would pull a digger over to the line and protect that.
7-3 Northern Michigan, side out New Haven. And some of the Wildcat reserve beginning to peel the sweats over at courtside.
Yeah, it looks like we might start putting some in. If nothing else, it's going to give them the chance to say that they did participate in the Elite Eight, which is, best 8 teams in the country.
Timeout, Northern Michigan. They get 45 seconds from the time the whistle blows. So if you're in a major strategy planning session, you better be clear and concise as a coach.
Yeah, you better know exactly what you want to say if you're the one calling the timeout. If you don't call the timeout, you have a little advantage because you're obviously doing something right. You don't need to talk to your team about anything.
15-4 and 15-6 for Northern Michigan. The first 2 games. Our other scores today: Northern Colorado over Regis 15-12, 16-14, and 15-9, which for all intents and purposes was probably the closest match of the day. This one I probably would have to say is most exciting strictly because of the crowd factor. Other games: Bakersfield 15-8, 15-7, 15-6 over Gannon, and Portland State 15-10, 15-7, 15-5 over Tampa.
Yeah, those two games were a little bit more balanced than this one has been.
Well, certainly we saw a very scrappy team from both Regis and from Gannon, and Tampa was a solid team, but they were just overmatched by Portland State.
Yeah, Portland State has has 5 or 6 girls that are very good attackers. Overall, all around, they're good players.
9-3 Northern Michigan, and that one goes to New Haven. Or check that. Those go to Northern Michigan. 10-3 Wildcats. Serve comes over the net. Oscillated the set, and the slam goes into the net off the hand of Shirley Hoyt.
Kind of looks like New Haven's losing some of their inspiration to play here.
11-3 Wildcats. The set, Hutchinson, and that goes wide. 12-3 Wildcats. Well, we're at 51 minutes. This keeps up. This one's not going to last an hour.
No.
Hutchinson into the block, off their hands, and they're unable to. Well, yes, they do. New Haven got it over, but Andrea found a soft spot, trying to save it for the Chargers was Raliana Vendrell from San Juan, Puerto Rico. But it's now 13-3, Northern Michigan.
Yeah, Northern Michigan's just pretty much overpowering New Haven in every single thing that they're doing. They're dominating at the net right now, and that's, you know, it's going to be tough to win any match if you're not a force at the net.
Big pass. That one scrapes the ceiling and gets over to Tricia Tuller.
Yeah, it's a good thing it didn't hit the ceiling. In college, if it hits any obstruction in the gym, then it's out.
A good thing she wasn't about 6 feet forward under the scoreboard. They got to come down as fast as it went up.
Yeah.
The crowd on its feet. It's match point here at the Hedgcock Fieldhouse. Jenny Long, the serve for Northern Michigan. Asalita sets it up. Hutchinson, the slam, the block. Point gets it over the net. Wildcats keep it alive. It comes back over and out. And we will have to wait for another match point.
Seems like New Haven's doing a nice job of fending off match points.
Stacy, the set, Tricia, the slam, but into the block of Asalita.
Unfortunately, Tricia wanted a little bit too much. She only had one blocker on that. She wanted to bury that ball. Hit it a little bit too short.
4-14. Another high deflection for Heather Koenig. Could be a new part of the Wildcat offensive arsenal. And that one goes out, so side out and a new, and again we will have match point.
Looks like we have 2 new younger players coming in.
Well, Emily Carrick, number 9, checks in, as does Becky Smith, number 8. A couple of Wildcats coming out, getting the big hand from the crowd. It's match point. Off the hands and long, so it will go back to New Haven.
This crowd's going to get some exercise in here going up and down.
The stand-ups and sit-downs almost reminds me of church.
Yeah.
That one will go Tricia Tuller. Nice dig in the back row for the Chargers, and it will go to New Haven. It'll now be 5-14.
Yeah, Jane Grant did a nice job of staying with Stacy Metro that time.
This looks similar to the end of the last game. Tuller, nothing doing. Match point, Northern Michigan.
That's effective because that's not a play that she runs that often. So when she comes in from the middle, her blocker does not follow her in.
Stacy Metro with the crowd on its feet. Asalita to the set. Jane Grant gets the block off the net. Northern Michigan advances to the semifinals with a 15-4, 15-6, 15-5 victory over the University of New Haven. They will meet Northern Colorado tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So, Lisa, let's take a look again at the day's action, or tomorrow's action coming up, actually. The first game at 5:30. Your squad, Bakersfield, going up against Kathy's Portland State. What do we see coming up in that match? Two pretty even teams.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very fast-paced match. Both teams like to run a very fast offense. A lot of rallies, a lot of extended rallies. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 5 games. I know when they played at Bakersfield at the beginning of the season, it went 5. And then they played Portland, and they lost in 4, Bakersfield that is. But both times that they played, it's been very long, extended matches.
Alrighty, and then the second game at 8 o'clock, and another big crowd expected on hand on a Sunday night at Hedgcock between Northern Michigan University and Northern Colorado. Now, we've seen both games today. Northern would appear to be the more dominant team. What does Northern Colorado need to do to play with the Wildcats?
I think Northern Colorado, first off, we saw tonight New Haven did not serve very well. They need to make sure that, for one, they're serving accurate, but also that they're challenging Northern Michigan with their serve. If Northern Michigan can run any offense that they want, then they're going to dominate this gym. And also eliminating errors. Any chance that Northern Michigan gets, they need to capitalize on that and score as many points as they can with their serve, with their defense, with ball control.
All righty. Well, Lisa Rosen, thank you for joining us here tonight. Hopefully we can have you back again tomorrow night for that Northern Michigan, Northern Colorado matchup.
Yeah.
All righty. Thanks again to Lisa Rosen, also to Kevin Hitt, who joined me for the first 3 games today. And thanks to our crew here at the C.B. Hedgcock Fieldhouse. Once again, the winners in the first game, it was Northern Colorado 3-0 over Regis. Portland State 3-0 over Tampa. Bakersfield over Gannon 3-0, and the Northern Michigan University Wildcats, the host squad, 15-4, 15-6, and 15-5 over New Haven. For all our crew here at Hedgcock, my name is Dave Danis. Hope you can join us again tomorrow for more Elite 8 volleyball from Hedgcock Fieldhouse.